What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and today we're digging into a beer from a brewery that has been a longtime favorite of mine, from Cigar City Brewing out of Tampa, Florida. This is Oatmeal Raisin Cookie. So, Oatmeal Raisin Cookie is a brown ale that, with the addition of raisins, cinnamon, and milk sugar to our full-bodied and chocolatey brown ale base, creates a unique beer that tastes exactly like it was pulled out of Grandma's oven. Interesting. So brown ale coming in at 5.5% ABV, brewed with raisins, cinnamon, and lactose. So Maduro, Cigar City's brown ale is actually one of my favorite brown ales of probably the last decade or so, and I'm wondering if that is the base. So let's go ahead and get straight into the review, shall we? I'm going to try something a little bit new for pouring the beer, actually. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit right here, and we're actually going to do a pour on camera versus, me holding it and doing a horrible job. So let's go ahead and just pour this beer into the glass. Hoping that's a little bit better. All right, so we'll get that guy all set and ready. All right, so beer pours. Super kind of nice. Obviously like brown kind of color. Looks absolutely beautiful in the glass, kind of as it should, traditional for the style. Nice little bit amount of kind of, 1.5 finger of frothy, kind of almost mocha-like head. Looks really absolutely inviting and beautiful. Let's go ahead and get ourselves an aroma. Okay. Smells like a brown ale. So, pulled out of Grandma's oven. So yeah, so I was kind of expecting maybe a little bit more kind of raisins, cinnamon, and even kind of like a little bit kind of like that milk, like, creamy kind of note that you get out of beers that are brewed with lactose, right? But I mean, it smells like kind of a traditional brown ale. It smells like Cigar City's Maduro, which is super kind of nice. Yeah, obviously you're getting those, those malts that are kind of predominant that are popping out of the particular beer. Smells a little bit sweet. Smells pretty good. I mean, yeah, smells like a brown ale. All right, so go ahead and give her a taste. We'll see what it is. Cheers. Okay. Huh. Funny. Tastes like an oatmeal cookie. So what it's definitely lacking, kind of in the nose, you definitely get hit with a super nice amount of cinnamon. The raisins definitely kind of pop through, almost kind of like, how raisins are kind of a little bit of that dark kind of fruit kind of flavor. There's definitely a bit of creaminess to the beer from that lactose, so that definitely pops through. Naturally, it's going to be a brown ale, right? So, like, in terms of just the overall mouthfeel, it's going to be a little bit more on the thinner side. But I think that kind of works in this beer just simply based on the fact is that while it is slightly a little bit thinner, right? Like, it's not too thick or too viscous by any stretch of the imagination, and it shouldn't be, right? It's a brown ale, and it's coming in at 5.5% ABV. What that kind of does is it allows it to kind of really accentuate just the cinnamon addition, a lot of those kind of interesting kind of dark fruit, almost borderline prune flavors that are coming out of the beer, and then kind of rounds itself off with kind of like a little bit of a cool kind of silkiness and kind of creamy taste from the overall lactose. It's interesting, for sure. Going back in front of the sip. Yeah, that's kind of fun. That's a super kind of fun beer. All right, so let's go ahead and give ourselves a rating here. So, Cigar City's Oatmeal Raisin Cookie Brown Ale coming in at 5.5% ABV, which is brewed with raisins, cinnamon, and lactose. So, overall, at the end of the day, it's not a world beater of a beer. It's kind of not meant to be. It's kind of just an interesting kind of adjunct-heavy brown ale, right? Do I think it's as good as Maduro? No, I don't. I do not think that this is the Maduro base, just based on kind of what I'm used to remembering from that particular beer. It's a little bit lighter, but obviously it does kind of deliver on what it says it's supposed to be, right? Like, I'm getting a tremendous amount of cinnamon. I'm getting raisin and dark root flavors. And it's a little bit slightly creamy and has a nice texture from the overall lactose. So, with that said, let's go ahead, give her a 3.75 caps. I think that's pretty fair. Fun, interesting little beer, kind of somewhat of a gimmick beer, but you know what? Fun little beer that Cigar City did here. I obviously wouldn't necessarily want to have multiples, but it was enjoyable to have in terms of just, kicking things up and doing something a little bit different. All right, so 3.75 caps for the Oatmeal Raisin cookie from Cigar City Brewing out of Tampa, Florida. That'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Taste. I'll hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers.